Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to Macworld. Thank you. Welcome to Macworld 2008. We've got some great stuff for you. There's clearly something in the air today. But before we dive into all of that, I just wanted to take a moment and look back to 2007. 2007 was an extraordinary year for Apple. Some incredible new products, the amazing new iMac, the awesome new iPods, and of course the revolutionary iPhone. On top of that, Leopard and all of the other great software we shipped in 2007. It was an extraordinary year for Apple, and I want to just take a moment and say thank you. We had tremendous support by all of our customers, and we really, really appreciate it. So thank you for an extraordinary 2007. Thank you. So I've got 4 things I'd like to talk about with you today. So let's get started. The first one is Leopard. I'm thrilled to report that we have delivered over 5 million copies of Leopard in the first 90 days. Unbelievable. It is the most successful release of Mac OS X ever. And what this has resulted in is almost 20% of the Mac OS X installed base is now upgraded to Leopard. This is unprecedented in the first 90 days for both us and, of course, the industry. So we're really, really thrilled by this. And the press has been very kind, too. It's been a critical success as well as a commercial success. In my view, Leopard is better and faster than Vista, Walt Mossberg, a man of few words. Leopard is powerful, polished, and carefully conceived, David Pope, the New York Times. With Leopard, Apple's operating system widens its lead aesthetically and technologically, Ed Begg, USA Today. And it's by far the best operating system ever written for the vast majority of consumers, right? Ed Mendelsohn, PC Magazine. So in addition to getting great critical reviews, Leopard has really been well received by our developers. And one of the things that's being announced today is Microsoft is now shipping Office Mac 2008, their latest version of Office. And this is the last big app to go native on Intel. So we're finally there. All of the big apps now are native on Intel. Thank you, Adobe. Thank you, Microsoft. All the apps native on Intel. So we're pretty thrilled. So in Tiger, we have a bunch of great new features, as you know. And one of them is Time Machine. Time Machine's really great because it can automatically back up all your files and save them to a hard disk. And as you know, the way Time Machine works is you take an external hard drive and plug it into your computer, and everything else is automatic. It works great. If you have a notebook, though, you're constantly plugging in that hard drive and unplugging it, and you're in places where you forgot to bring that hard drive and you want to get a backup. You wish that you didn't need that wire, right? You wish it was like this. Well, today we're introducing a companion product to Time Machine. It's going to do away with that wire forever. It's called Time Capsule. And what it is, it's really clever. It's a backup appliance. And what it has in it is an Airport Extreme base station, a full Airport Extreme base station, and a hard drive. So it's got 802.11n wireless networking, the most advanced Wi-Fi networking available, and it's got a server-grade hard drive in it. So it's very reliable. And these two things together make up Time Capsule. And as you can see, it's a full Airport Extreme base station with all the ports in the back. Really nice. And so you can back up your notebook wirelessly to Time Capsule. As a matter of fact, you can back up all the Macs in your house, whether they be notebooks or desktops, wirelessly to one time capsule. Just literally plug it in, turn it on, and enable time capsule or time machine on all your Macs, and that's all you have to do. It's really wonderful. We're going to sell time capsule in two versions. One with a 500 megabyte drive, or gigabyte, sorry, 500 gigabyte drive inside it, and one with a terabyte drive inside it. The 500 gigabyte drive model is going to cost just $299, and the terabyte model is going to be just $499. These are very aggressive prices because we want people backing up their content. And Time Capsule is going to ship in February. It's the perfect companion product to Time Machine. We've got an ad running on Time Machine. I hope you've seen it, but if you haven't, I'd love to run it for you now.
Hello, Mac.
What's with all of the U's?
Oh, yeah, this is my new backup feature, Time Machine.
Oh.
It automatically makes copies of me every hour. So if I accidentally delete a file, I can always find it. Exactly. Plus, it's part of Leopard, so it comes on every Mac.
I have to say, Mac, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, thanks, PC. Yeah, thanks, PC. Oh, thanks, PC. Thanks, PC. Yeah, thanks, PC.
Okay,
yeah, thanks,
you're
PC.
welcome, all of you. You don't have to go down the whole line.
So that's Time Capsule, a perfect companion to Leopard, and that's the first thing I wanted to share with you this morning. So number two is about the iPhone. I've got some great news for you. Now today happens to be exactly the 200th day since the iPhone went on sale. Right? iPhone's been shipping for exactly 200 days today, and I'm extraordinarily pleased to report that we have sold 4 million iPhones to date. If you divide 4 million by 200 days, that's 20,000 iPhones every day on average. So we're really pleased with this. Now, what does this mean in terms of the overall market? Well, let's take a look at the US smartphone market share that the iPhone has achieved. Now, this is data from Gartner, and the most recent data we can get is really just for the third calendar quarter ending in September. So this is iPhone's first quarter of shipment ever. And so the market share in the US, RIM had the highest market share with 39%, right? They do a great job, highest market share. Next was the iPhone. Its first quarter shipping, it garnered 19.5% market share. Now let's look at number 3, 4, and 5. Palm with 9.8%, Motorola with 7.4%, and Nokia with 1.3%. And then other, the category with everybody else in it, 20.2%. So the iPhone, in its first 90 days of shipping, garnered almost a 20% market share of the US smartphone market. What's equally interesting to this is if you take number 3, 4, and 5, Palm, Motorola, and Nokia together, and you add up their market shares, it was 20.3. We equaled them in the first 90 days of shipment. And we just about equaled other, which is everybody else put together, in our first quarter. And when the numbers come out for the December quarter, we think we're going to have done even better. So this is our first 90 days, 4 million iPhones to date. Now, what everybody's really excited about is the software development kit that we're going to release in late February to our developers. This is really exciting, a chance for all of our developers to write incredible apps on the iPhone. But we wanted to give everybody something today, too. And so we've got some great new features we're rolling out on the iPhone today. First, Maps with Location. We've completely rewritten the UI, and we now have the ability to find your current location in Maps. Web Clips. You can now make web clips of your favorite websites and put them right on the home screen. You can customize the home screen and create up to 9 total home screens that you can flick between. You can SMS multiple people at once. When you're watching videos, you can have chapters and navigate through your videos with chapters. And if it supports it, you can have subtitles in alternate languages. And if you have lyrics, we support displaying of lyrics now in the iPod. So what I'd love to do now is show you this stuff. Let's take a look. Excuse me. So let's go to Maps. And as you can see, we've got a new user interface for Maps here. We've got search and directions right in the middle here so people don't get confused. Over on the right side, we've got a little view button, and I can hit that and just curl up the map, and it allows me to see my map and map view, satellite, new hybrid view, which puts them together, list view, show traffic, and we can drop a pin. We'll come back to that later. But this button on the left is really cool. I push it, and it's going to locate. It's going to locate me right on the map. Zoom. And there we are. So this is pretty cool. And I can just flip right into directions now, and it uses my current location as the start. And I could say, well, that's cool. I want to get back to Apple, and just find the route. And it will calculate the route back to Apple and show me and give me street-by-street directions if that's what I'd like. And here we are. I could say I want to edit that, and what I really want is I know we have an Apple store nearby here, and I've bookmarked that as well. And so let's calculate the route to that. And here's the Apple store. So after the keynote, I can wander over to the store. I can drive over to the store. So that's pretty cool. And I can also now drop a pin anywhere I want to and move it around. And let's say when I'm going to the Apple store, I find a cool little shop over here I want to bookmark. And I can just add this to my bookmarks. I can get directions. I can remove the pin, whatever I want. And I can just keep track of those kinds of locations that I want to go to again. So that is the new Maps. And again, we develop our Maps application in conjunction with Google. They have awesome Maps technology, and we write the front-end apps, and it's a great collaboration, and we love working with those guys. So I want to now SMS more than one person at once. And I'm going to bring up a new message here, and I'm going to just, well, let's say I want to send it to Phil and Scott, and oops, got to spell his name right. Scott Forstall, and maybe Tim, and maybe Tony Fidel right there. And I could just say hi, and this will actually send a message to him now. And so I'm sending a message to 4 people here, which is kind of nice. But as you know, our SMS client keeps track of the conversations that you're having with these people. And so if I go back now after sending this, it's right here at the top of my list right there, you can see. And if I want to send another SMS to all of these folks with one click of my finger, I've addressed it and I'm ready to go. So it's pretty nice. So that's sending SMSs to more than one person at once. Web clips. Web clips is pretty cool. So I go to my Safari browser. I'm looking at the Apple home screen now. And I'm going to go to Google because they have these really cool apps now that work with the iPhone. And I think I might use them a lot. And here they are coming up now. And what I can do is I now have this plus button right down there at the bottom in the center. And I can just push this plus button. And what's going to happen is, in addition to have add to bookmark, I have add to home screen, and I can mail a link to this page if I want to. So I'll say add to home screen, and it comes up, and I can rename it if I want, and it shows me the icon that I'm going to get. And I say, that's just fine, let's add it. And so now that icon is now added to my home screen. I'm going to go get another one. This one takes a while to load, but it's the New York Times. It's a great website. And we'll just go ahead and wait for it to load here. Because web clips can be more than just a website, they can also remember where I've zoomed and panned to. So on the New York Times, I often like to just look at the front page and look at the technology section here once it loads in. And we'll just scroll down here for a second as it loads in. And we'll zoom up to the technology section. There we go. And that's what I want to see. And we'll just go ahead and say add this to the home screen. And we'll get rid of the whole New York Times and just put NYT, because that takes up a little less room. And we'll add it. And now I've got a New York Times right here, right? And I just touch these and I go right back to those websites, which is really cool. Now, I may want to customize my home screen. And so what I can do is just touch any icon for a few seconds, and they all start to jiggle. They all get a little restless. And I can do whatever I want. I can take something out of the dock if I want. I only have 3 things in the dock. I can say, I'm going to use these Google apps a lot. I'm going to put them right in the dock there. I'm going to take my New York Times and just slide it over to the right of the screen, and it goes to another page that I've made with all my other web clips on it. And when I'm done, well, I can go back here if I want, and I can just, move stocks down here, and I can move, my calendar over here, whatever I want to do. And I just push home, and I'm done. And now my icons have been rearranged, and I can go see some of these other web clips. I can just push Bank of America. They have a great mobile banking app here, and I just go right to it. It's that simple. And I can create up to 9 of these home screens and just literally flick between them with a flick of my finger. So there you have it. So how do we do some of this stuff? Let's take maps. There's no GPS inside the iPhone. We've got this great new user interface, but how do we actually arrive at the location? Well, we're working with 2 companies to do that, Google and a company called Skyhook Wireless. Let me start with Skyhook. What they've done is they've driven the US and Canada in little cars with antennas on them and GPS receivers in them, and they've mapped Wi-Fi hotspots. They're now doing Europe and starting in Asia. And they've got 23 million Wi-Fi hotspots in their database. And so when we go to find a location, it turns out you pick up beacons from these hotspots, even if you're not connected to them. And then you pick up the beacons, we triangulate the beacons, look in their database, and it tells us where we are. Isn't that cool? It's really cool. And Google is doing basically the same thing with triangulating cell tower information off the cellular network. And we're using both of them. And it works pretty doggone well. So that is how we find location on the iPhone. And again, we can take any app. We have this new add to home screen button. We can go ahead and add our apps right to the home screen. We can reposition them anywhere we want. SMS, multiple people at a time, and again, have a record of that so I can just, if I want to, one finger, send a message to all those people again. And when I'm watching films now, I've got 2 buttons here. One shows me all the chapters. I can navigate through the video by chapters. And the other, if the video contains alternate language tracks or subtitles, I can turn those off and on and select the language as well. If I have lyrics data, it puts it right on top of the album art when I go in with the scrubber. So these are some of the new features that we've got on the iPhone. And all of this is available today as a free software update for every iPhone owner. The iPhone is not standing still. We keep making it better and better and better and giving free software updates to our users. So that's the iPhone. What about the iPod Touch? They do have the same software system inside. What can we do for the iPod Touch today? Well, we're doing something pretty big. We've decided to add 5 apps to the iPod Touch. We're going to add our amazing Mail app, our Maps app, which you just saw, Stocks, Notes, and Weather. And this is what it's going to look like for the iPod Touch. Mail, Stocks, Notes, and Weather. Maps with Wi-Fi location, because the iPod Touch has Wi-Fi. So whenever we can pick up those Wi-Fi beacons, we can use Skyhook to find the location, even on an iPod Touch that doesn't have a cellular radio in it. Web clips, customize the home screens, the same stuff we just heard on iPhone, on the iPod Touch. And starting today, we are going to build it into every new iPod Touch that leaves the factory. And for existing iPod Touch users, it's going to be just a $20 upgrade. And you get all these new features. And available today on iTunes. So you can just go to iTunes, plug in your iPod Touch. You'll see a page just like this, and with one button, you can download this entire software update to your iPod Touch. And so the iPod Touch and the iPhone, major software updates to each one. And that was the second thing I wanted to talk about today. All right. Number three. Number three is a good one, too. Number three is about iTunes. I'm really pleased to report that last week we sold our 4 billionth song. Isn't that great? $4 billion songs. You know, on Christmas Day, we set a new record. We sold 20 million songs in one day on Christmas Day. Isn't that amazing? 20 million songs in one day. That's our new one-day record. On iTunes, we've also sold 125 million TV shows. That's way more than everyone else put together, selling TV shows online. And we've sold 7 million movies. Again, that's more than everyone else put together, but it did not meet our expectations, I have to tell you. And so we've looked at this a lot, and we think there's a better way to deliver movie content through iTunes over the internet to our customers. And so today, we're introducing iTunes Movie Rentals. Now, we've never offered a rental model in music because we don't think people want to rent their music. Every time we go out and ask them, they want to own their music because you listen to your favorite song thousands of times in your life. But your favorite movie, most of us watch movies once, maybe a few times. And renting is a great way to do it. It's less expensive. It doesn't take up space on our hard drive when we're done. It's a great way to look at movies. And so this is what the new section of the iTunes store looks like for movie rentals. And we have gotten the participation of some great studios. Touchstone Pictures, Miramax, MGM, Lionsgate, and New Line Cinema. Oh, and by the way, these 6 too. Twentieth Century Fox, Warner Brothers, Walt Disney, Paramount, Universal, and Sony Pictures. We have every major studio supporting us with iTunes Movie Rentals. And we're going to have all the great first-run films. You know, all the films of this year that are now out on DVD, just really, really great films. I'm sure you saw a lot of these in the theater. That's a particular favorite of mine. We've also got great library titles. Hunt for Red October, Matrix, Jerry Maguire, Austin Powers, lots of library titles, and all of the great new titles this last year. Here's a great example I wanted to highlight. This film, I didn't happen to see this film, I'm sure most of us didn't, but you know, this film got a 95% on the tomato meter at Rotten Tomatoes, which is the best review site out there. And now we have a chance to see these kinds of films and have them brought into our consciousness that we might not normally have had the opportunity to see. And all the great films of the year on iTunes Movie Rentals. Now, so what's the deal? Here's the deal. We're going to launch with over 1,000 films by the end of February. 1,000 films by the end of February, and we're going to have films from the studios 30 days after their DVD release. You can watch them anywhere. You can watch them on your Macs, watch them on your PCs, watch them on all current generation iPods, watch them on your iPhone. You can watch them instantly. When you say rent, if you have a modern broadband connection, you'll be able to watch them in less than 30 seconds. What are the rules? When you rent a movie, you have 30 days to start watching it. And after you start watching it, you have 24 hours to finish watching it. You can watch it as many times as you want within 24 hours. So 30 days to start, and after you start, you have 24 hours to finish. And you can actually transfer the films to another device in the middle of watching them. So you can watch the first half on your computer, realize you've got a flight to catch, transfer the film to your iPod, and watch it, the rest of it on the iPod on the airplane if you'd like. So you can move the films around to different devices. What are they going to cost? To rent a library title is going to cost just $2.99. To rent a new release, $3.99. So here's how it works. I'm on iTunes, I'm looking at a movie I might like to rent. I push Rent Movie right here, and it adds it to a collection of movies I've already rented, let's say, in a new category of rented movies up in my iTunes library. So I've already rented the Simpsons movie, I've already rented Harry Potter, and it adds Ratatouille, and I've got 29 days remaining. And I can watch Ratatouille on my Mac in this case. So I'm watching Ratatouille, but I want to watch the rest of it on my iPod. So I stop the movie, I plug in my iPod, I go to movies, and I see this. It shows me all 3 movies, and with one simple button called Move, I move Ratatouille onto my iPod, and now I can watch the rest of Ratatouille right on my iPod. It's that simple. iTunes Movie Rentals launches today. It's a free software update. There's free software updates going out for iTunes, iPods, and iPhones to support iTunes Movie Rentals. We're rolling it out in the US starting today, international later this year. We're dying to get this international as well. So iTunes Movie Rentals. You can watch movies on your Macs and PCs. You can watch movies on all the current generation iPods. And you can watch movies on your iPhone. But what about this? What about this flat screen TV that I just bought? I'd like to watch the movies there too. Well, I have to say, all of us have tried. We have Microsoft, Amazon, TiVo, Vudu, Netflix, Blockbuster. We've all tried to figure out how to get movies over the internet and onto a widescreen TV. And you know what? We've all missed. No one has succeeded yet. We tried with Apple TV. And Apple TV was designed to be an accessory for iTunes and your computer. That's not what people wanted. We learned that what people really wanted was about movies, movies, movies. And we weren't delivering that. So we're back with Apple TV Take 2. It still syncs beautifully to your computer if you want, but no computer is required to use Apple TV Take 2. So here's what you can do with Apple TV. You can rent movies directly on your widescreen TV. You don't have to rent them on a computer and move them over. You can rent them directly on your widescreen TV with Apple TV. And you can rent them in DVD quality, and you can rent them in HD with full with Dolby Digital 5.1 surround sound. The quality is unbelievable. You can also now view audio and video podcasts right on Apple TV. You can choose from the over 125,000 podcasts in the iTunes podcast directory and see them right on your widescreen TV. Photos, you can get photos from your computer, but you can now go right over the internet and get photos from Flickr and .mac and watch them. And as you know, photos are stunning on a widescreen TV because modern digital cameras are all HD resolution. And of course, YouTube. We've been working with the guys at YouTube for quite some time, and we've expanded the selection to, there's over 50 million videos that you can now watch on your widescreen TV from YouTube. And this has worked out so great. Our customers love this. You can now buy TV shows and music right on your widescreen TV with Apple TV. And if you are using a computer, it'll automatically sync them right back to your computer. And of course, you can play iTunes content and watch photos directly from your computer if you want to do that. It's even better than the original Apple TV in this regard. So all of this stuff on the new Apple TV. Let me focus in on the HD movies for a minute. As we said, we have library and new release titles, and the library titles are $2.99 and $3.99. Well, in HD, they're just $1 more. $3.99 and $4.99. You can rent them in HD quality. And we've got over 100 titles in HD today, and this is going to build really fast. We're very, very excited about this. So, all of these features and an entirely new user interface. So let me go ahead and show this to you now. This is the new interface for Apple TV. It's got one menu. It pops up in the center: movies, TV shows, music, podcasts, photos, YouTube, and settings. It couldn't be simpler. And so let's go into movies. We'll go into top movies here. And this is what the main movie rental screen looks like. The whole thing is centered around the movie rental experience. So I've got some bricks at the top. I can go into comedy classics and look at comedy classics, peruse them if I'd like to. Family gems. Star Trek. I love the old Star Trek movies. But let me go down and actually pick a movie. Let's take a look at Blades of Glory, right? Fun movie. And so, as you can see, I can read a little bit about the movie. I can see the actors, the directors. I have a list of movies that viewers that rented this movie also rented. And I can go down into any one of those if I want to. And, well, not that one. Maybe Zoolander. And I could check out Zoolander. And again, I could just go through this over and over if I wanted to. But I want to go back up, and I want to go ahead and preview Blades of Glory. And so I can just push a single button and get a preview for free. So you get the idea. It's very strong. It's very strong. So let's go to genres here. We've got all sorts of genres, G and PG and drama and romance and sci-fi. Just to see a few of these things. We even got a Western. And I just want to go ahead and show you what search is like, too. You can search for things. Again, we're just populating the database. We're ingesting all these movies from the studio and encoding them right now. And it's pretty great. So I want to find Shakespeare in Love. Again, it's a real fast live search. There it is right there. Just go down to it. Boom. And there's Shakespeare in Love. Preview or to rent. So it's that simple. So now, let me go back up. TV shows. Again, we've got over 600 TV shows on iTunes that you can buy for $1.99 per episode on Apple TV. Watch them, and again, they'll automatically sync back to your PC or Mac. Oops. Music. Again, we've got over 6 million songs in iTunes. You can buy any of them right on your widescreen TV. Let me go ahead and let's go ahead and search for something here. And I'm going to search for a Linkin Park music video. So there they are right there. I can just go over to Linkin Park. And here's a music video I could also buy. Let's preview it. Incredible! So let me go to photos now. I don't know if we can top that one. But let me go to .mac. And again, this is all live. You can go to your own sites or other people's sites. You can set these things up as screensavers or just look at the photos. So let's go to Belize Vacation here. This is, again, streaming. Isn't this incredible? On .mac, we also have movies. And I want to play you a movie. You know, this is some footage that was taken by one of our iMovie guys, the chief architect of iMovie, on one of his vacations. It caused him to want to create iMovie. And he created iMovie, and he edited this on iMovie, and with one click puts it up on the .mac web gallery. And now here we are with our new Apple TV, watching it on a very widescreen TV. For the recipient, there is no computer involved here. They're doing this all from their couch on their widescreen TV. So, let me go to Flickr now. This is Flickr Live, right from their servers. So I'm going to go to Love to Hike 78. Go in there. And you know, we can show you all the photos from Love to Hike 78, but I'm going to do something even more fun. I'm going to go to Love to Hike 78's contacts. These are Love to Hike 78's friends, right? So I'm not even looking at their videos. I'm looking at their friends' photos here. And I'm going to go to Hero552, whoever that is. And I'm going to play some photos from the boating trip. So that's what I wanted to show you today. Isn't that incredible? This is all from your widescreen TV. Movies. Boom. Find out about the movie, preview it, rent it in DVD quality, rent it in high def. Genres, action adventure, family gems, comedy classics, and then TV shows. Buy from over 600 television shows. Buy music, over 6 million songs. Again, have it automatically synced to your computers. Podcasts, ones we saw, you might want to look at election 2008. It's amazing, over 125,000 podcasts in the directory. And photos from .mac, as we saw, and when they're serving up photos, Flickr. So we're really excited about this. And again, over 50 million video streams from YouTube. So this is where we're at with Apple TV. I think it's a revolution. And certainly we've made some progress since our first try. Apple TV, the new software, is a free software upgrade to every Apple TV owner. We want everybody to have this new software, this entirely new user interface, all of the rental software, free upgrade to every Apple TV owner. Now, given the fact that we've got all new software and that we've got the support and participation from every major studio, we want to make Apple TV even more accessible. Right now, it sells for $299, but not anymore. The new price of Apple TV starting today is just $229. We are shipping the free software upgrade to existing owners and the new $229 Apple TV in just 2 weeks. So, let's come back to iTunes movie rentals. You can watch them on your computer. You can watch them on all current generation iPods. You can watch them on your iPhone, and now you can also watch them on your widescreen television. You can order them for your computer, your iPods, and your iPhone right off of iTunes on your computer. You can order them for your widescreen television right on your widescreen television with Apple TV. We have support from every major studio. I think we've got it all together. And I want to tell you, the first studio to sign up with us for iTunes movie rentals was 20th Century Fox. We really appreciate that. We've developed a really great working relationship with Fox. We're doing some great stuff together. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you the chairman and CEO of 20th Century Fox, Jim Giannopoulos.
Hey. Wow. Hey, buddy. Whoa. That's a crowd. Hi, Steve. Don't worry about that. Steve. Thank you. Wow, what a great crowd. I'm backstage listening to Steve talk about movie rentals and getting all excited, and I realized I already knew about it, so I can imagine how everybody else, is going to feel. I'll give you a little of the backstory. You don't get to talk about movies and media and technology for very long before you start talking about business models. And so, like any other studio, we spend a lot of time talking about business models. Old models, new models, evolving models, how to improve models. When you really get down to it, all those models and all that complexity distills into two things. Make great movies, give it to people in as many ways as you possibly can. That's basically it. When you talk to people about what they want, the same thing comes back. They want a wide variety of choice. They want easy access to it. They want to be able to have it be convenient. They want to be able to control when and where and how they watch it. And they want to take it with them every chance they get. So choice and access, convenience, control, portability. Also pretty basic. Basic enough that even a studio guy can understand. So, but we don't do things that way. We have to think them through, right? So we go to our in-house technology department, our guru, our futurist, our technologist, give them all the ramifications, and this is how it affects this and that and this. We give them all the data, and I think we have a slide with the result. Woohoo! So Homer's on board, and it's auspicious. Tomorrow is the rental opening of the video rental for the Simpson movie. Actually, the real backstory is that when Steve came to us with this idea, it was a no-brainer. It was just the most exciting, coolest thing we'd ever heard. And certainly we still feel that way. VOD, video rentals, are not a new thing. They're certainly available in other ways. They'll continue to be. People may make those choices. But there was music, and then there was the iPod. There was a phone, and then there was the iPhone. So, Apple does things in a very intuitive, insightful, innovative. I got a couple of I words left, but you get the idea, and I know you're all here, so you understand. So I think this will be a transformative version of the rental model, and we're incredibly excited about it. Going back to that idea of giving people choices and options and ways of enjoying movies, because that's kind of what we do. There's another idea that we've talked to Steve about, and we've been working on for a while, which is DVD. And DVDs will be with us for a while, especially now that the next generation format will be Blu-ray, looks like. But right? Yeah, that's what I thought too. But people will still want to buy DVDs and enjoy the benefits of hard media, but we don't want to deny them the benefit of having that same movie available to them on their iPod and in their iTunes library and on Apple TV. So we developed a digital copy that will be on discs going forward. In fact, I happen to have a copy of the first one with me. Again, auspiciously today, coincidentally, it actually was. We actually planned this date a long time ago as the DVD premiere of the Family Guy Blue Harvest video, which is Seth MacFarlane's hysterical take on his favorite movie, Star Wars, which George Lucas fortunately had a sense of humor about, and I think you'll really enjoy. But this contains a digital copy, which you can instantly and easily move to your iTunes and to your iPod and to all of the cool toys. First one. And it's free. So, we're really excited about this as well. But today is for us at least this exciting beginning of movie rentals on iTunes, and we couldn't be happier and prouder of our partnership and our friendship, and we look forward to bringing you a lot of exciting entertainment in the years to come. So, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jim. Well, iTunes movie rentals. That's the third thing we wanted to talk about today. Very excited about it. So that brings us to number 4. There's something in the air. What is it? Well, as you know, Apple makes the best notebooks on the planet. The MacBook and the MacBook Pro. These are the standards in the industry by which competitive products are judged. Well, today we're introducing a third kind of notebook. It's called the MacBook Air. Now, what is the MacBook Air? In a sentence, it's the world's thinnest notebook. So, what does that mean? Well, we went out and looked at all the thin notebooks out there. Most people think of these, the Sony TZ series. They're good notebooks, and they're thin. Right? This is what they look like. Side view there. We looked at all of them out there and kind of tried to distill the best of the breed of all of them. And, they generally weigh about 3 pounds. They're, in this case, in the Sony's case, they're about 0.8 inches to 1.2 inches thin. They're wedge shape. This is quite representative. They compromise, though, to get the weight down on things like the display. They have an 11 or 12-inch display, most of them an 11. They also compromise on the keyboard. Instead of putting full-size keyboards in, they make miniature keyboards. And they don't run them as fast as they could because their thermal envelopes don't support faster processors. So we looked at this and we said, what do we like and what do we think is a compromise here? We think the weight's a good target, 3 pounds. But we think there's too much compromising to get there. Too much compromising on thickness, too much compromising on less than a full-size display, less than a full-size keyboard, and we think you could put even more performance in one of these products. So let's take a look at the thinness first. This is that Sony product. Again, one of the best in the field. 1.2 inches down to 0.8 inches. This is the MacBook Air. .76 inches down to an unprecedented 0.16 inches. Now I want to point something out here. The thickest part of the MacBook Air is still thinner than the thinnest part of the TZ series. Okay? We're talking thin here. So, it's so thin, it even fits inside one of these envelopes that we've all seen floating around the office. And so let me go ahead and show it to you now. This is it. Let me take it out here. This is the new MacBook Air, and you can get a feel for how thin it is. Yeah, there it is. Look at this. All right. Amazing product here. Full-size keyboard, full-size display. And this is what it looks like. Isn't that amazing? So, let's go explore this in more detail. So again, it fits inside one of these envelopes. It's that small. This is what it looks like. Isn't that incredible? It's the world's thinnest notebook. You open it up. It's got a magnetic latch, so there's no hooks or things to catch on your clothing. And it's got a full-size 13.3-inch widescreen display. And the display is gorgeous. It's an LED backlit display. And not only does that save power, and not only does that give a really bright display, but it's instant on the minute you open it. On top of the display is a built-in iSight camera for video conferencing right out of the box. And you flip it down, there is a full-size keyboard. This is perhaps the best notebook keyboard we've ever shipped. It's a phenomenal keyboard, and it's full-sized. And with the ambient light sensor, it's also backlit. We've got a very generous trackpad, which is great. We've also built in multi-touch gesture support. Now, as you know, our current notebooks have some gestures built in. We've taken that even further. When you go to Preferences in the MacBook Air, you'll actually get to turn on all sorts of other types of gestures, and there's actually videos in there to show you what they are. So let me run through them with you now. You can double tap, and instead of moving the cursor around, you can move a whole window around, right? Just a nice time saver. So that's great. Here's another one. When you're in a photo, a large photo, you want to pan around. You can pan around with just 2 fingers like this. Another nice time saver. You want to rotate a photo? This works in iPhoto and all the other photo apps. Just rotate like this. Again, we've taken some of these things we learned in the iPhone, and now we're putting them in our notebook computers. Here's another one. If you want to go between photographs, next photo, just take 3 fingers and pan right, previous photo, pan left. And you want to zoom, you can pinch in and out. All right? Isn't that great? So, multi-touch gestures. Pretty amazing. And again, you can see how beautiful and thin this product is. Now, how did we fit a Mac in here? How did we do it? I'm still stunned that our engineering team could pull this off. Well, let's look at the bottom. Take off the bottom, and there's 3 things in here. It's a battery, hard disk, and the electronics. On the hard disk, we went to 1.8-inch hard drives. We've shipped tens of millions of these in iPods. We know them well, and they're great. And so the MacBook Air ships with an 80-gigabyte hard disk as standard, and there's an option of a 64-gigabyte solid-state disk if you'd like it. These are a little pricey, but they are fast. But the real magic is in the electronics. This is a complete Mac on a board. Let's take off the cooling system. That's a complete Mac on this board. And you can think, well, okay, what's so special about that? Well, this is how big the board is. It's really tiny. And to fit an entire Mac on this thing was an amazing feat of engineering. And we didn't compromise on performance. MacBook Air uses the Intel Core 2 Duo. This is a really speedy processor. It's what we use in all of our other notebooks and our iMacs. 1.6 gigahertz standard, and there's an option to go to 1.8 gigahertz if you want. Now, we've got a great relationship with Intel. And both companies are engineering driven, and they both love to challenge each other. And Intel's got enormous amounts of technology. And so when we were building this product, we asked them to consider something. This is their amazing Core 2 Duo chip, right? It's a screamer. We said we want that chip in this product, but we need to go to smaller packaging. The same die on a smaller package. It sounds easy, it's not. They spent a lot of, invested a lot of engineering to create this for us. This is the same chip in a package that is 60% smaller. And it's one of the reasons we could build MacBook Air. And so I'd like to say thank you to Intel. And it's my pleasure to invite the CEO of Intel, Paul Otellini, on stage. I'd like to give him a round of applause.
Hi, Steve. Pleasure. You know, Steve, about a year ago, you challenged us to try and get the world's best microprocessor into this impossibly thin machine. I brought one with us today. When we started this project, we didn't think it was possible. The product that we ended up building for you is about the width of a dime. It's as thick as a nickel. It has 400 million really fast, really power-efficient transistors on it, and it's state-of-the-art. And I think just working with you and your team to produce these wonderful devices has been a challenge. There are times when we sweated over it, but at the end of the day, we did what we do best together, which is innovate.
Yep.
And I want to thank you and your team for allowing us the opportunity to innovate with you.
Well, thank
and let me
you.
give you this as a souvenir.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Woo! This is awesome technology. Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Intel. So, that's the electronics. That's how we fit a Mac inside. the world's thinnest notebook. So let's take a look at some of the other features. On one of the sides, we've got a MagSafe connector. We've got a smaller 45-watt power adapter that also comes with the MacBook Air. On the other side, we've got a flip-down door that exposes USB 2 port, a micro DVI connector with digital and analog video, and a headphone jack. And maybe most importantly, we've built in the most advanced wireless networking technology, 802.11n, right into MacBook Air, along with Bluetooth 2.1 plus EDR. So the latest and greatest in wireless technology. The MacBook Air was built to be a wireless machine. Now, no matter how hard you look, one thing you're not going to find in a MacBook Air is an optical drive. If you really want one, we've built one. You can buy this accessory that was made for the MacBook Air. It's powered off the USB port of the MacBook Air, and it costs just $99, and it's very compact. You can take it with you wherever you go with your MacBook Air. But you know what? We don't think most users are going to miss the optical drive. We don't think they're going to need an optical drive. Because again, the MacBook Air was built to be a wireless machine. So what do we normally do with optical drives? We play movies, right? We install software. We make backups. And we burn music CDs sometimes, for our cars usually. Well, guess what? We have a much better way to get movies onto our computers now. We can wirelessly rent them from iTunes movie rentals right on our MacBook Air. We have a much better way than burning CDs for our car. Most of us have iPods in our cars now. For making backups, we now have Time Machine and Time Capsule to wirelessly back up our notebooks. What about installing software? Well, we're going to do that wirelessly too. We've innovated in a way only Apple can to give a comprehensive solution to this problem. We have a new feature on MacBook Air built right into the operating system called Remote Disk. And so when you go to the Finder in MacBook Air, you will see in the left-hand column something called Remote Disk. And Remote Disk, when you click on it, will show you all those Macs or PCs in your vicinity that have some special software loaded on them that comes on the disk of MacBook Air, Mac version and a Windows version. And you can pick one of those machines and ask to borrow its optical drive. And when you do, that machine will get a request. They can accept it. That's what it looks like on Windows. And so once they've accepted it, you see what's in their optical drive. And you have Mac installer disks inside a Windows PC. A PC can read a Mac disk with this special software and send it wirelessly over to your MacBook Air. And you click on it, and it's just as if you had a local optical drive. And you can install your software. It's amazing. So, Remote Disk, that's how we're going to install software. Wirelessly. We go from this to this. And we don't think users are going to miss that. So MacBook Air, this amazing notebook. We also didn't want to compromise on battery life. And so MacBook Air, when you're doing email, you're browsing the web, wireless networking's turned on, 5 hours of battery life in that tiny little portable. A lot of the other ultra-thin notebooks get an hour and a half of battery life. This is phenomenal battery life without having to put a big, giant external battery on it like some of them do. So, what are the features? 3 pounds. An unprecedented 0.16 to 0.76 inch thickness. A 13.3 inch full-size display. A full-size keyboard. A backlit keyboard. Multi-touch gestures on a very spacious trackpad. EyeSight camera built in for out-of-the-box video conferencing and horsing around with photo booth. 1.6 gigahertz Core 2 Duo as standard. 2 gigabytes of memory standard. An 80 gig hard drive standard. with an option to go to a 64 gigabyte solid state drive, 802.11n Wi-Fi standard, Bluetooth 2.1 EDR standard, and of course our MagSafe connector. And all of these features and more in the thinnest notebook in the world, and we are pricing this notebook at just $17.99. And we commence shipping MacBook Airs in just 2 weeks. We're starting to take orders today. Pre-order on the online store if you'd like. We'll be shipping in 2 weeks. So, this is what the shipping box looks like. So the thinnest notebook in the world, it's just amazing. And we made an ad that we're going to start running. If you'd like, I'll show it to you. You want to see it? Okay, go ahead and run the ad. So, MacBook Air. I wanted to cover one other side of MacBook Air. We're going to do this for our major product introductions going forward. That is some of the progress we've made towards our environmental initiatives on these products. So there's a few things we've done. Number one, the MacBook Air is enclosed in a fully aluminum case, which is fully recyclable. Matter of fact, it's a highly desirable material by recyclers. They love aluminum. The whole case is aluminum, which is great. MacBook Air has our first display that is both mercury-free and also uses arsenic-free glass. This is a milestone for us, and we're very happy about this. All of the Apple-designed circuit boards, which are the vast majority of circuit boards in the unit, are bromide flame retardant-free and PVC-free. So we're very happy about that as well. That's a first for us as well. And the retail packaging is 50% less volume than our previously smallest packaging, which was the MacBook. This helps a great deal in energy expended transporting the products and with obviously disposing of the packaging material. So we're very happy about that too. We continue to make progress on all of these environmental fronts, and we'll keep you posted, but they all add up to something in the end, and we're very conscious of this. So thank you for that. So MacBook Air, the thinnest notebook in the world. And it joins our other two great notebook families, the MacBook and the MacBook Pro, the best notebooks in the industry. So that is the fourth thing that I wanted to talk about with you today. Thank you. So it's 2008 already. And in the first 2 weeks of 2008, let's just review the new products and innovations that we've announced so far. Well, last week, we announced the most powerful Mac we've ever made, the new Mac Pro. 8 processors across the board. It's a screamer. It's the fastest Mac we've ever made. And today, Time Capsule, companion product to Time Machine. Keep our data safe and backed up. Software upgrades for both the iPhone and the iPod Touch, bundling 5 new apps on the iPod Touch as well. iTunes Movie Rentals, a whole new way to enjoy movies on your computers, on your iPods, on your iPhone, and a completely reinvented Apple TV where you can order movies right on your widescreen TV, standard DVD quality or high def. Unbelievable. And the MacBook Air. All of this in the first 2 weeks. And we got 50 more weeks to go. So we're pretty excited. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is what we have to share with you today. Thank you so much for coming. You'll get a chance to see all of these new products in the booth. Thanks for coming today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, and thank you all for coming today. We want to kick off 2010 by introducing a truly magical and revolutionary product today. But before we get to that, I just got a few updates. The first is an update about iPods. A few weeks ago, we sold our 250 millionth iPod. And iPods have changed the way we discover and purchase and enjoy music. And with 250 million of them, I just didn't want to let this moment pass without just recognizing it. It's pretty amazing. And so that's our first update. Second update is about our retail stores. You know, we now have 284 retail stores. It's amazing. And last quarter, the holiday quarter, we had over 50 million visitors to our stores. 50 million people in one quarter. One of our newest stores is our 4th store in New York City. It's on Broadway, a few blocks up from Lincoln Center. And it's really beautiful. This is a shot of it before it opened. It'll never look this good again. Here it is on opening day. And a shot across the street. It is so wonderful to be putting these stores with their phenomenal buying experience right in the neighborhoods of our customers. It feels great. And so this is one of our latest and greatest retail stores. Next update, store of another kind, the App Store. An incredible phenomenon, delivering applications to iPhone users and iPod Touch users around the world. We have over 140,000 applications now on the App Store. And a few weeks ago, we announced a user downloaded the 3 billionth application from the App Store. This is in around 18 months since inception. 3 billion applications in the App Store. And lastly, we started Apple in 1976. 34 years later, we just ended our holiday quarter, our first fiscal quarter of 2010, with $15.6 billion of revenue. I don't even believe that. Now, what that means is that Apple is an over $50 billion company. Now, I like to forget that because that's not how we think about Apple, but it is pretty amazing. Now, where does Apple get this revenue? It gets it from 3 product lines: iPods, iPhones, and of course, Macs. Now, what's really interesting about this is that iPods are mobile devices. iPhones are all mobile devices, and most of the Macs that we ship now are laptops. They're mobile devices too. Apple is a mobile devices company. That's what we do. And we asked ourselves, with $15.6 billion of revenues last quarter, how does Apple stack up against all the other companies that sell mobile devices? And it turns out that by revenue, Apple is the largest mobile devices company in the world now. It's amazing. Apple is larger than Sony's mobile devices business, selling great camcorders and digital cameras and stuff that they make. It's bigger than Samsung's mobile devices business with all their handsets that they sell. And by revenue, it's even bigger than Nokia's mobile devices business with all of the handsets that they sell. Apple is the #1 mobile devices company in the world. So those are the updates that we have today. So now let's get to the main event. I chuckled when I saw this. But before we get to that, I want to go back to 1991, when Apple announced and shipped its first PowerBooks. This was the first modern laptop computer. Apple actually invented the modern laptop computer with these PowerBooks. It was the first laptop that had a TFT screen, the first modern LCD screens. It was the first laptop that pushed the keyboard up, creating palm rests, and had an integrated pointing device, in this case, a trackball. Well, of course, almost 20 years later, we've got incredible laptops now. Just a few years ago, in 2007, Apple reinvented the phone with the iPhone. And a few years later, we've got the great iPhone 3GS, the best phone in the world. And so all of us use laptops and smartphones now. Everybody uses a laptop and or a smartphone. And the question has arisen lately, is there room for a third category of device in the middle? Something that's between a laptop and a smartphone. And of course, we've pondered this question for years as well. The bar is pretty high. In order to really create a new category of devices, those devices are going to have to be far better at doing some key tasks. They're going to have to be far better at doing some really important things. Better than the laptop, better than the smartphone. What kind of tasks? Well, things like browsing the web. That's a pretty tall order. Something that's better at browsing the web than a laptop? Okay. Doing email. Enjoying and sharing photographs. Video, watching videos. Enjoying your music collection. Playing games. Reading ebooks. If there's going to be a third category of device, it's going to have to be better at these kinds of tasks than a laptop or a smartphone. Otherwise, it has no reason for being. Now, some people have thought that that's a netbook. The problem is, netbooks aren't better at anything. They're slow, they have low-quality displays, and they run clunky old PC software. So they're not better than a laptop at anything, they're just cheaper. They're just cheap laptops. And we don't think that they're a third category device. But we think we've got something that is. And we'd like to show it to you today for the first time. And we call it the iPad. So, let me show it to you now. This is what it looks like. I happen to have one right here. That's what it looks like. Very thin. Looks just like this. So, just give you a little overview. It's very thin. And you can change the background screen, the home screen, to personalize it any way you want. People put their own photos on it, I'm sure, but we ship a few, and you can make it anything you want. And what this device does is extraordinary. You can browse the web with it. It is the best browsing experience you've ever had. It's phenomenal to see a whole web page right in front of you, and you can manipulate with your fingers. It's unbelievably great. Way better than a laptop. Way better than a smartphone. And you can turn iPad any way you want. Up, down, sideways. It automatically adjusts however you want to use it. And again, to see the whole web page is phenomenal. Right there, holding the internet in your hands. It's an incredible experience. Phenomenal for mail. You want to focus in on a message? You can do that. See your inbox. Again, just turn iPad sideways. Get a different view on your mail. Push the compose window. A keyboard pops up that's almost life-size. It's a dream to type on. For photos, your albums are shown as stacks of photos. Your albums are events. You can unfold them, look at all your photos, flick through them. Got some great slideshows built in. It's a wonderful way to share your photos with friends and family. Built in a calendar. You can see your month's activities or your day's activities and everything in between. Built in a great address book for your contacts. Have a great Maps application, which works with Google's back end. Show you maps, satellite views, zoom in on things. iPad is an awesome way to enjoy your music collection. And of course, we have the iTunes Store. Built right into the iPad, so you can discover music, you can purchase it, movies, TV shows, podcasts, iTunes University, everything built right into the iPad. YouTube, you can watch YouTube on it, including YouTube in high def now. They've got a lot of high def video. And of course, it's awesome to watch TV shows and movies on. So that gives you a little overview of what the iPad can do. But it's nothing like seeing it. So I'd love to show it to you now. Let's take a look at it. Again, using this thing is remarkable. It's so much more intimate than a laptop, and it's so much more capable than a smartphone with this gorgeous large display. So this is the lock screen. I unlock it. The icons fly in. Let's go right to the web. So here we are at apple.com, and I'm just going to go to Safari. I just touch the bookmarks icon and touch the New York Times, let's say. And here we are right at the New York Times. You can see how fast it is. And I can just scroll around here and look at the whole front page of the New York Times. Anywhere I want to go, anything I want to make bigger, I can make bigger. If I want to go into a story, I can just touch it. And I go into that story. Back to the front page. And so I can browse around the New York Times so easily. It's really great. I go down here. You know? See what's happening today? And again, just so easy to go into a story like this. See the photographs, read the story. It's that simple. Let me go to another website here. Let's go to Time Magazine. See what's up in Time's website. Flick through the website, see what's happening. Go to another one here, Fandango. Want to buy some tickets to a movie? Grab the tablet that's in the kitchen. Go to Fandango on your iPad and buy your tickets. It's that simple. The whole website in the palm of your hands. Let me go to another one. It's kind of nice, National Geographic. And again, you know, we can look at this in landscape mode if we'd like. Go back to portrait. It's very, very simple. And it adapts to the way I want to use it. And again, I can zip around this website, just touching on pictures of animals, what I want to see. It's just gorgeous, right in the palm of your hand. So, that is browsing the web. Let's go to email. So here I've got a message. As you can see, I can have photographs in the message, and I can have my inbox right here. I can turn it sideways like this, and I can also browse messages just by having my inbox here on the left. Take a look and see what kind of messages I've got. Here's another one. This is the Paris Metro. Let me go focus on that message here, and I can just, you know, make this as big as I want and check out the Metro in Paris. Oh, Napa Valley. Here's a PDF. Again, just tap on the PDF. It displays it, shows me all the wineries. And I can plan out my trip to Napa Valley. So that's how simple mail is. Now, if I want to reply to a message or go ahead and send a message, I just hit the compose button here. And up pops this gorgeous keyboard. And let's say Scott Forstall and Phil Schiller. And oops. You know, there we go. It's that simple to do email on the iPad. Okay, next, let's go into Photos. This is what Photos looks like. I can just look at everything as a list of photos, again in portrait or landscape, and just fly through. I can look at any photo like this just by tapping on it. And again, turn it from portrait to landscape, and just flick through my photos. It's that simple. I also can look at my photos as albums, and it grabs the metadata from any PC or Mac. And if I'm on a Mac, I can also get events, faces, and places from iPhoto. Now, once I have these, I can look inside of any album, as an example, and say, you know, is this the one I'm looking for? And I can just pinch it open. No, that's not it. Is this the one? No, that's not it. This must be the one. Yep, that's it. And again, just flick through these photos. I have a little bar at the bottom if I want to scrub through them. Or I can just flick left or right through the photos. It's really wonderful. I have, again, events, faces. You know, let's see all the photos with Liz in them here. And places. Shows me a map of all the places I've taken photographs. So I can just hold down one of the pins, push on one of the pins, and see all the photos I took there, see all the photos I took in New York. Let's go to Paris. Here's all the photos I took in Paris. Just tap on it to open them. And in addition to just looking at them as we have built-in slideshows. And so I can bring up a slideshow here and select my music and pick one of the different transitions. I'm going to pick one called origami. And just push Start Slideshow. You get the idea. Isn't that cool? So that's photos. Let's take a look at our music collection. Built-in iPod, and here's all my albums. And I can just scroll through my albums and find something I like. When I see something I like, I just tap on it and say, let's play a song. So again, a great way to enjoy your music on your iPad, your whole music collection. Let me show you a few other things. The iTunes Store. Again, built right in. I can sample music, discover songs, buy them. And of course, in addition to music, I've got movies, TV shows, podcasts, audiobooks, and iTunes U. All right here, all built right into the iPad. Got a great calendar. Here, look at that month view. And I can just drag my finger over events and get a little more detail on them. I can look at things as a week view, or a day view, or a list view. Very nice calendar. And great contacts application, great address book. Just go through it like this if we want. There's Scott, as an example. So great contacts and calendars. Now, we've also got a great Maps app, as I was showing you. And again, here's the Eiffel Tower. We just tap the corner. Let's go to satellite view. And again, we can just pinch this as big as we'd like. There we go. There's the Eiffel Tower. So great Maps app. Let's go to our current location here. Here's our current location in San Francisco. And I'm going to type in sushi. And we should find all the sushi places nearby. And again, I can just tap on a pin to find one. And there we go. Here's Sushi Boat. So I want to go find that one after this presentation, maybe get some lunch. And I can just hit on Google Street View right here. And there's Sushi Boat right there. So I'll probably have a pretty easy time finding Sushi Boat as I go get some sushi. All right, so that's Maps. Now let me show you video. Video is wonderful. Let's go to YouTube, and I'm going to pick a clip called Wet and Woofy that I know is in high def on YouTube. And here So that's YouTube, and again, here's related clips and more from that person. And again, whether it's in portrait or landscape, it just all works. And of course, videos. Let's go into landscape for this. And we've got movies, TV shows, music videos. You know, so I can go into a TV show like Modern Family as an example, pick an episode, and watch it. Let's do that with a movie. Let's pick Star Trek, and let's go to chapters. Oh, what's a good one? You know, let's go back, pick another movie that I love, which is Up. Awesome movie. And one of my favorite sequences ever in any movie is this sequence in Up right here. Isn't that wonderful? So that is video on the iPad. And that gives you a little bit of an overview as to what the iPad can do. Isn't that awesome? I have to say, though, watching it is nothing like getting one in your hands and feeling all of that just right in your hands and right underneath your fingertips. So let's go back to the hardware a little bit. The iPad is really thin. It's 1/2 inch thin. And it weighs just 1.5 pounds. That is thinner and lighter than any netbook. And it's got a gorgeous 9.7 inch IPS display. Super high quality display using IPS technology so you get great angle of view as well. Very high quality display. And as you know, Apple builds the best capacitive multi-touch sensors in the world. Married to our great display, it's terrific. Super responsive, super precise. iPad is powered by our own custom silicon. We have an incredible group that does custom silicon at Apple. We have a chip called A4, which is our most advanced chip we've ever done, that powers the iPad. It's got the processor, the graphics, the I/O, the memory controller, everything in this one chip, and it screams. And you can have 16, 32, or 64 gigabytes of flash solid-state storage inside the iPad. It's got the latest in wireless networking, Wi-Fi 802.11n, and the latest Bluetooth 2.1. And the usual suspects, accelerometer, compass, speaker, microphone. It's got a 30-pin connector, so it plugs into the whole ecosystem of iPod accessories. And it's got battery. What is the battery life of this remarkable device? We've been able to achieve 10 hours of battery life in this 1.5-pound device. 10 hours of battery life, which means I can take a flight from San Francisco to Tokyo and watch video the whole way on one charge. It's pretty nice. And in addition to 10 hours of battery life, it has over a month of standby life. So we could just set the iPad down, it would go to sleep automatically. We'd come back in a month, it would still have charge. It's remarkable. Environmentally, the iPad's a great citizen. It's arsenic-free, bromide flame retardant-free, mercury-free, PVC-free, and its aluminum and glass enclosure is highly recyclable. So that's a little bit of an overview of the iPod's hardware. Now, let's go back to software. We've seen some great built-in applications, some all-new built-in applications. But now let's talk about third-party applications. Let's talk about the App Store. And to help me do that, I'd like to invite up Scott Forrestal, our Senior Vice President of iPhone Software. Scott?
Thank you. Good morning. The App Store has been a huge success. We launched it just about 1.5 years ago, and already our customers have downloaded over 3 billion apps, choosing from among the more than 140,000 apps available on the store? Well, we built the iPad to run virtually every one of these apps unmodified right out of the box. Now, we can do that in two ways. We can run these apps with pixel-for-pixel accuracy black boxed in the center of the screen. We can also automatically pixel double and run those apps full screen. This is really cool. Let me go ahead and show you how it works. So here I have an iPad. We downloaded a number of apps from the App Store, all unmodified. And let me launch just a couple for you. We'll start with Facebook. Here it is. This is the Facebook that you know and love. It just works. I can tap on a photo. I can flick to a new photo. And now, if you look in the bottom right corner of the screen, there's a button that says 2x. When I tap on it, we automatically scale the application up to full screen. When I go back to my news feed, I can switch, say, to my profile, see my wall. It all just works. Now, Facebook uses a lot of text, photos, and some video. But what about an application that really drives the graphics hardware? What about a game? Let me go ahead and launch a game here. This comes from ESPN, and it's called X Games Snowcross. Now you can see at the beginning of this game, I'm steering it with the accelerometer, and even the game I can take full screen. So you can see, hey, some tricks. You can see that even with an OpenGLES game, very graphically intense, you get tremendous frames. And I have to say, having played some games on here, they're smooth and they're incredibly fun. So there you go. Right out of the App Store, unmodified. So the great thing is, all of those iPhone apps that you know and love, that you've already been running, will run on your iPad. In fact, when you buy your new iPad, just take it home, hook it up to iTunes, download all those apps that you already have right onto your iPad, and you're good to go. Now, if the developer spends some time modifying their application, they can take full advantage of this large touchscreen display. And you can see that's what we did for all of our applications. We rewrote the user interface of every one of our apps to take full advantage of this large touchscreen display that comes with the iPad, like Photos, and Music, Calendar, and YouTube. They all look great. And we expect developers are going to want to do the same thing. So to that end, we've enhanced the iPhone SDK to now support development for the iPad as well. And we're releasing this SDK today. So developers can go to apple.com today and download the SDK and get going. And this SDK even includes an iPad simulator, so you can run your iPad apps right on your Mac as you develop them. You know, we think it's going to be a whole other gold rush for developers as they build apps for the iPad. And of course, every iPad comes with the App Store loaded up on it. so you have a great distribution channel to get your apps out to all of our customers. Now, we're going to take and highlight and feature all of the apps that are built specifically for the iPad in the store. You'll still be able to get to all of the iPhone apps, but if you create an application specifically for the iPad, we're going to put it front and center. Now, we're really excited about the possibilities for developers on the iPad. And so, just about 2 weeks ago, we invited a few developers to Apple to give them a sneak peek at the iPad and see what they could create in just a couple short weeks. And I'd like to invite a few of them on stage to show you what they've created, starting with Gameloft. Gameloft is one of the largest developers of games for the iPhone and iPod Touch. They have over 60 games on the App Store that have been downloaded more than 55 million times. To show you what they've been able to do in just a couple weeks on the iPad, I'd like to invite up Mark Hickey. Mark.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you. Good morning. Today, my colleague Bogdan and I are here to show you some amazing new gameplay mechanics that we've worked into our award-winning first-person shooter called Nova. So what's different about Nova on the iPad versus Nova on the iPhone or the iPod Touch? Well, when you hold the device in your hands, you'll see the display is just huge, which makes the game immensely fun to play. But the size also gives you a lot more flexibility when it comes to controlling the game. For example, I can slide the D-pad up and down the side of the screen. Or if I want to quickly access some firepower, I can drag the rocket launcher down next to the fire button. So with the controls set up how we like, take a look at the bottom left corner of the screen. We've added a mini-map, and you can stretch the mini-map out across the screen just by dragging the corner with your finger. When we do that, you'll notice that there's this red dot on the screen. This tells us that definitely useful when you're outgunned and outnumbered. Now, this is what we were able to accomplish in just a few short days working with this exciting new hardware. The games look incredible at this higher resolution, and the form factor opens up countless new doors for us in terms of game design. You'll be able to see what else we have in store for you when the iPad version of Nova ships later this year. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark. Great stuff. Next up, the New York Times. The New York Times has been publishing a newspaper for more than 150 years. It's commonly referred to as the paper of record, with a huge readership both nationally and internationally. It also produces one of the best web news sites in the world, and one of my favorites. To tell you about their plans for the iPad, I'd like to invite up Martin Nissenholtz. Martin.
Thanks, Scott. It's great to be here today. I want to introduce my colleague, Jennifer Brook, the interaction designer on this application, and Adam Kaplan, the engineer. So Steve showed you the website, the Times website, and it's just incredibly beautiful. Unbelievable imagery, unbeatable readability. So why did we come out here 3 weeks ago to develop this new application for the iPad? Well, we developed an application for the iPhone that has been downloaded over 3 million times, and we optimized that for that device. And now we want to do the same thing for the iPad, creating something that joins the best of print with the best of digital, all rolled up into one. Something that you can really immerse yourself in, lean back, and enjoy. So let's take a look.
I'm so excited to share with you what we've been working on in the last couple weeks. We think that we've captured the essence of reading the newspaper, the finite snapshot in time, the exquisite typography, images, and content, and a superior reading experience, all in a native application. Let's take a look. From the front page, you can easily flip through sections, tap into articles, or we can skip ahead to my favorite section to see today's latest stories. It captures the essence of reading the newspaper, but as you're about to see, it's so much more. I can save articles to my reading list, and it will sync to my iPhone so I can read them whenever I want. Or we can jump ahead to 36 hours to see the latest story in travel. The reading experience is great. You can tap to change the number of columns, resize text with a pinch, or we can flip through dozens of amazing slideshows. Let's jump to sports to see the latest coverage in the Olympics. When you're done reading, simply turn on updates to get breaking news and latest stories in all sections. It's everything you love about the paper, everything you love about the web, and everything you expect from the Times.
Thanks, Jennifer. So this is just the beginning. Thanks. We've been at this for 3 weeks, and we're incredibly psyched to pioneer the next version of digital journalism. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Martin.
Thank you.
I already find myself reading the New York Times with my iPad in the morning through Safari. I can't wait to get this app. Next is Brushes. Brushes is an extremely popular iPhone painting app. It's used by artists all over the world to create amazing works of art just using their fingertips. Equally amazing is the fact that Brushes is a one-person shop. To show you what he's been able to accomplish in just a couple weeks, I'd like to bring up that one person, Steve Sprang. Steve.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Brushes is a simple yet powerful painting application designed for the iPhone. Artists of all skill levels have used it to produce countless paintings with just their fingertips. These paintings have appeared on the web, in galleries, and even in print. New York City street scenes by George Colombo have been used on the cover of The New Yorker on 3 occasions. Today, I'd like to show you how Brushes looks on the iPad. We'll start here in the gallery, where I've included a handful of original iPhone paintings. You can swipe between these, and you'll be able to share them in a variety of ways. When you want to edit a painting, you simply tap it, and it expands to fill the screen. Brushes takes full advantage of the new interface elements available in iPhone OS 3.2, allowing you to access your controls without significantly obscuring your artwork. The color panel has been redesigned to include an area for swatches where you can store your favorite colors. These can be rearranged, and you can double tap one to quickly select it and dismiss the panel. Of course, all of your favorite brushes from the iPhone are available here too. You can adjust the size, the spacing, and the opacity. By pinching, you can zoom in up to 32 times. And by tapping and holding, you can activate the eyedropper tool, which allows you to pick up existing colors off the painting. Painting is as simple as dragging your finger across the screen. In this example, I'm removing the umbrella by painting over it with the background color. If you mess up, you can always undo. When you're done painting, just tap the gallery button to return to the gallery. On the iPad, Brushes is going to support in-app playback of your paintings. Just tap the play button to see a replay of your actions. I'm really excited about the possibilities for Brushes on this device. Artists have already done amazing things with the iPhone, and I think with this larger screen, they're going to have a true portable paint studio. I can't wait to see what they can do with it, and I plan to have Brushes available at the product launch. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. It's amazing. I mean, imagine an artist with a canvas this large that they can carry anywhere they go, including art students, and it weighs only 1.5 pounds. No paints, no easel. It's going to be incredible. Next up, Electronic Arts. Electronic Arts has been a major supporter of the iPhone platform ever since we launched the App Store, with over 40 titles already. EA is the #1 worldwide publisher of mobile games. To show you what they're doing for the iPad, I'd like to invite up Travis Boatman. Travis?
Thanks, Scott. Hey, everybody. So when Apple invited us to come on site and work with them on the iPad, we couldn't have been more excited. But as gamers, the first thing we wanted to check out was this device's performance. And what better game than Need for Speed? Now, as you can see here, we have a gorgeous 3D version of the BMW. Building for the iPad is something completely different. It's a little bit like holding a high-definition television screen just inches from your face. The field of view and the sensation of speed that you get is just incredible. It's not unlike if I turned around and was driving this monitor with my hands. Except I couldn't clearly lift that up, but this thing's so light that John's able to hold it in his hands and use the accelerometer to steer our car like a steering wheel. It's really cool. It's also fully touch-enabled. And we had a lot of fun experimenting with different types of interfaces. For example, if John wants to see inside the car, there's no buttons required. He just taps right on the car. We had so much screen real estate, we started adding fun things like the shifter. Again, really intuitive. The user just swipes up and down with his finger to change gears. We also have so much screen real estate, we added mirrors. Simply tap on the mirror to look behind you. Yeah, well, you gotta be careful where you're looking if you're driving. But other than just a large screen and it being completely touch sensitive, again, for us, performance is really important. And a game like Need for Speed really pushes the limits. So we want to show you exactly how fast this device in this game really goes. Yeehaw. Nice driving, John. So that's Need for Speed running on the iPad, and you can expect a lot more great stuff coming from EA soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Travis. Nice. And last up is MLB.com. MLB.com is the official website of Major League Baseball and the publisher of MLB.com At Bat. Now, that app has been downloaded nearly 2 million times and has streamed over 60 million videos, making it one of the most popular sports apps in the App Store. To show you what they're doing with the iPad, I'd like to invite up Chad Evans. Chad.
Thanks, Scott. Good morning, everybody. Joining me is Tracy Pessin, our Director of Mobile Engineering. We were extremely excited to build something for the iPad, and we realized we couldn't just take our existing iPhone application and make it bigger. We really need to create a whole new experience to take advantage of the big, gorgeous, interactive display. So let's take a look at the demo. So you're currently looking at our live game experience with data from last April. Across the top, you have our league scoreboard, which allows you to navigate to any of the day's games. On the field, you have our game day pitch tracker, which shows you the trajectory of every pitch thrown. And you can tap on a pitch to bring up additional details. You can also tap any player to flip open his baseball card. So you can see all the stats relevant to the current game situation. And now, with all this great screen space, we can actually show you video highlights while all this is going on. So you can replay the game's best.
High drive, right center field, hit a ton, up in triples alley.
Well, I love that. Across the bottom, we've got your game controls, so you can see the box score, the field, the summary, the batter-pitcher matchup, and scroll through the lineup. And it looks like we've got a man on first now, so we can take a look at all the action with MLB.tv, where you can watch live with your choice of home or away announcers. So the first thing you'll notice is that baseball looks absolutely amazing on this screen. And now we can enhance it with great live data from MLB.com, like the scoreboard, the field, the box score, and player cards all while you watch.
All right, thanks, Amy.
So let's take a look.
Mike. Is rolling, hits a high drive, left field, out of here.
So we really think this device, with its big interactive display, allows us to create a really rich, immersive, interactive experience for fans to enjoy the national pastime. Thank you.
Thanks. Well, I, for one, know that instead of carrying a transistor radio into the backyard to listen to baseball, I'll be taking my iPad and this app. Now, we really are incredibly excited about the opportunities for developers to build amazing apps for the iPad. And we're providing an SDK today to let developers get going on that. Now, while we wait for those apps to come out, we can all run all of our existing iPhone apps unmodified right on our iPad. And that is the app story for the iPad. Steve.
That's great. Thank you, Scott. Isn't it awesome? And these guys only had 2.5 weeks to work on this stuff. So imagine what they're going to do in the next few months. People are going to go crazy. So we've seen some really great apps. Let me show you another one of our apps that we're very excited about. Of course, that's an ebook reading app. Now, Amazon's done a great job of pioneering this functionality with their Kindle. And we're going to stand on their shoulders and go a bit further. So this is what a Kindle looks like. I'm sure many of you have used one. This is reading a book on the new iPad. It's really nice, and our new app is called iBooks. Now, iBooks has a bookshelf. Looks like this, where you have all your books. If you want to read one, you just saw what it looks like. It's terrific. You can go into Portrait and see both pages if you'd like. And in addition to having your bookshelf and being able to read books, there's a button in the upper left corner of the bookshelf, which is the store. And we've created the new iBook Store, fully integrated with the iBooks app to allow you to discover and purchase and download ebooks right onto your iPad. So you can discover books. We've got, of course, our top charts lists, the New York Times bestseller lists, and we've got 5 of the largest publishers in the world that are supporting us in this and are going to have all their books on the store. And we're going to open up the floodgates for the rest of the publishers in the world starting this afternoon. So we're going to have a lot of books on the bookstore. We're very excited about this. We think it's going to be a great app. So let me go ahead and show it to you. So there's our bookshelf, and here's some of our books. And probably the best thing is let's go into the store right now. I hit the store button, and it's kind of like a secret passageway. It flips around, and here is the iBook Store. And if you've used iTunes or the App Store, you're already familiar with this. And we can look at books here. We can look at the New York Times bestseller lists, etc. Let's go back here. And I want to actually buy True Compass by Edward Kennedy. So I just tap on it. I get more detail about it here. Take a look at the reviews of it. And I'm going to buy it. I get a sample of it to read if I'd like, but I'm sold already, so I'm just going to go tap on it and buy this book. And the book downloads right onto my bookshelf like that. And that's all there is. It's just so simple. And now if I want to read that book, I just tap on it. And here it is. And this is what it's like to read a book. I have some controls. I can just tap in the center and the controls go away, get them back, send them away. And to flip the page, I just flip forward. I tap anywhere on the right, and I flip forward. Flip back, just tap on the left. That's it. I can even flip myself if I want by dragging it. if I'd like, you know. Very simple. And I can go to the table of contents here, and I can just pick a chapter and go there. I'm going to pick Part 2, Brotherhood. And again, you can have photos, black and white, or color. You can have video, if you'd like, in your books, whatever the author wants. It's very, very easy. And this is what it's like. And we can change the font size if we'd like, bigger or smaller. We can change the font. Pick a different font. Whatever you want. And that is iBooks. So iBooks, again, a great reader, a great online bookstore. The iBookstore, all in one really great app. We use the EPUB format, and so it is the most popular open book format in the world. And we're very, very excited about this. We think the iPad is going to make a terrific ebook reader, not just for popular books, but we are also very excited about textbooks as well. Now, something very exciting. iWork. A little over a year ago, I asked the head of our iWork team to take a look at creating a version of iWork for the iPad. And the initial reaction was, the iWork apps, Keynote, Pages and Numbers, are really heavy-duty apps. They require a lot of horsepower. Could the tablet power them? And the answer turned out to be a resounding, you betcha. And then, could we come up with an entirely new user interface for these apps? It's very different than running on a personal computer. And what they came up with is really magnificent. And so, to tell us about iWork on iPad, I'd like to invite up Phil Schiller, our Senior Vice President of Product Marketing. Phil?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. This is really exciting. iWork is a suite of applications that millions and millions of our customers on the Mac truly love. These applications are innovative, they're beautiful, they're creative, they're fun, and our customers at home, and in schools, and in business are able to create professional quality presentations, word processing documents, and spreadsheets, all with this amazing software. And as Steve told you, the iWork team has been hard at work for a year now, seeing if they can take this amazing software and bring it to a multi-touch tablet, the iPad. And I can tell you, they've done some amazingly remarkable work. We have a completely new version of Keynote designed specifically for the iPad, where you can create professional presentations just with your fingers. There's a complete new version of Pages. It is the most beautiful word processor you will ever see. And there's a complete new version of Numbers, a spreadsheet that is fun and cool to use. When's the last time someone's told you that? And really, the only way to appreciate how amazing the software is for me to show you. So I'm really honored to be the first to show you the new iWork applications on the tablet. So here we go. I get to sit in the chair. Let's launch Keynote. Keynote runs in landscape orientation because that's the way our slides are. Our slides are designed horizontally. And when we launch into Keynote, the first thing we do is we see our slide library. This is a library of presentations that we have created in Keynote. I can create a new presentation by just tapping a button to do so, and I have access to these gorgeous templates, just what you would expect in Keynote. I'm going to go into this first presentation, 7 Wonders of the World. We open it up, and the first thing you see is a great layout. I have a big, beautiful slide to work on, so I can create my content. I've got some menu items on the top. And I have my slide navigator, something familiar to all Keynote users, on the left-hand side. To move around the slide navigator, I just scroll with my finger. It's that easy. I want to go to a slide, I just tap on it, slide 2. Now this slide shows you it has beautiful text, great templates. Slide 3, you can see there's a table. You can create tables right in Keynote. The next slide, 4, shows a chart. You can create beautiful charts and graphs in Keynote. Now here I am on slide 5. It's an introduction slide. I think I want that further up in the presentation. How do I move a slide around in the navigator without a keyboard or mouse? It's really simple. I'm going to hold my finger down on it. It pops up out of the canvas, and I drag it wherever I want and let go, and now I've rearranged my slide. Well, that's for one. What if I want to move a bunch of slides? Watch this. I'm going to pick slide 5, drag it over, and then I'm going to tap 4, tap 3, and they create a bundle that I can drag and place anywhere I want, and they snap into place. So multi-touch gestures used to arrange all my slides. Slide 8 shows we can have incredible graphics and photos on this. Well, how do I get them in? I've got a media navigator. I can get right into all my content, like my photos and my photo albums, and just bring them right on. And when I bring the photos onto a slide, how do I move them around? Of course, I use my finger. I just tap on a photo, and I can drag it around, place it wherever I want. Get those convenient guides that I'm used to help me align things. If I want to resize a photo, how do I do that? Easy. I grab one of these blue handles and I start resizing. Now let's say I'm resizing this photo and I want it to be exactly the same size as the one below it. While I'm resizing, I just tap the other one and it sees I want to match them, and I let go and they're now matched to the same size. I want to rotate this photo, I use 2 fingers. I want to mask a photo, watch this, I just double tap and I can expand this image, move it around, tap done. I've just done a mask, and that's an advanced technique that people do in presentations. It's so easy in Keynote. What else is easy? Animations. Keynote has beautiful animations. The same is true on the iPad. Let's say I want to bring this chart in with a build. Well, I go into animation mode. It's a button on the top right. And I see there's no build-in assigned yet, so I'm going to tap the build-in button. And I have access to all these great animations. Let's do a scale. And it will automatically preview that scale. I use the same technique if I want to create transitions on slides. In animation mode, I tap the slide. I see that there hasn't been a transition set yet, so I select it, and I have great transitions. Let's pick the cube, and I'll preview that as well. So very quickly and easily, with just my finger, I'm doing very advanced slide animation techniques. Whenever I'm ready to present, I start wherever I want. We'll start with slide 6. I hit the play button. And once I do that, we're now presenting. And I can advance slides by either tapping or swipe right to go forward or left to go back. So I tap to go to the next slide, tap to bring up that chart we just animated, tap to do that cube transition we just did. Now watch this one. When I tap, that's called Magic Move. Automatic animation transitions created in Keynote. A very advanced feature. That's on the iPad as well. Look at the quality of some of these graphics and transitions. They're just beautiful. Anytime I want to get out of it, I just double tap, and I'm back into Keynote, and out to all my presentations. So that's a very quick, brief view of Keynote and all the power it has on the iPad. Now let's go to Pages. Yeah. Like Keynote, with Pages, I see a library of documents that I've created in here. I also can get access to a lot of templates to start anything new. Let's go into this first one, Life in the Serengeti. Again, this is a document that was created right on the iPad. It's beautiful. I can scroll through the texts and headlines and copy. If I tap anywhere in the text, up pops my keyboard, and down comes the ruler. It's the most beautiful ruler you've ever seen in an application. It gives you access to your most needed formatting commands. If I want to just focus on typing, I can turn it horizontal. And I get a bigger keyboard, and it's all focused on the text. Now, scrolling up and down is something I can do easily with my finger, as you see. But if I want to even get through the document even quicker, I've got a new tool called the Page Navigator. I hold my finger on the right, and now I see a smaller version of each page. I can go to whatever page I want. Let's go to page 6. Now, here you see something really advanced happening. We're seeing automatic text wrap around a graphic. I can hold down on this giraffe's head and start moving it around, and you see the intelligent auto wrap happening. I can tap on the text to type, or I'm going to tap the info button on the top to bring down a control panel where I can set a whole bunch of things. Formats, I can create outlines, I can even affect the layout of this text. With one tap, I'm going to make it a 2-column format. And with just that simple, easy control, I can create a beautiful 2-column format with text wrapped around it. So that's just a brief view of Pages. It is the most beautiful word processor you've ever used. And last, Numbers. Numbers, again, gives me a library of spreadsheets I may have created. It has great templates. Let's go into this first one, the soccer team. Now, this is going to show a lot right in this first screen. You can see I have great text. I have beautiful photos. Of course, I have tables of data. I have charts linked to tables. I even have tabs along the top. So one document can actually hold many spreadsheets. So let's do some typical tasks you might do with a spreadsheet, but all without a keyboard and mouse. I'm going to tap the center table. Let's say I want to rearrange some of the columns. How would I do that with just my finger? I'm going to tap right above the column Andrew. I'm going to grab this handle and also select the Amy column. And let's move those columns to the end of the table. So I'm going to hold my finger. They pop up. And I just drag them across, let go wherever I want them. And I've reorganized columns in a table, and the linked chart has automatically been updated as well. It's that easy. Let's go to the next tab. I have some more data in a table here and a pie chart associated with it. What about adding more rows of data and maybe doing a calculation on those columns to do a subtotal? That's really easy. I'm going to tap the table. I'm going to tap the button on the bottom left to add a row. And now I'm going to double tap the first cell in this row, and something really amazing happens. I brought up the data entry keyboard. This is one of the amazing benefits of a touch interface and soft keyboards. The default keyboard is exactly what you need for numeric data entry, to quickly get at and enter data in your cells. Or I could bring up a time and date keyboard to do formulas using times and date. Of course, I can enter text. And I've got access to all my formulas and functions. There's over 250 formulas and functions built in to Numbers. I can go into any one of them, even get help built on it right here by tapping. But what I want to do is simpler than that. I just want to do a sum on the column, and that's a button right there on the keypad, so I'll tap it, sum. And Numbers is smart enough that it recognizes where I am, the column of data, and automatically created the formula to sum that column. All I have to do is tap the green checkbox to accept it because it's right. And what if I want to move and fill that across all of them? I could copy and paste, but there's an even faster way. I just tap that cell, I tap fill, and now I drag the yellow box across to where I want to fill across, and it's done that. It's filled across and automatically created my subtotals. You see a pie chart here. I have easy ability to affect that pie chart. I can tap the info button, change it to a different style graph, or change the way it looks. Make it black and white, or give it really vibrant colors. Now, what if I think Chris has done a great job and I want to highlight his wedge of that pie? I'm going to drag it out of the pie chart. I just hold my finger on it and drag to position it wherever I want. Again, things that are hard to do on a spreadsheet with a keyboard and mouse are really easy to do with this touch interface. Numbers are so powerful, you can create spreadsheets like this one that has formulas, checkboxes, ratings. I can even take a table just like this one, and in one simple tap command, create a form. Now, all the data in that spreadsheet is represented as a form on the tablet that I can enter. I just hit the arrows to move between the different records. I can decide that Andrew here has done a great job goaltending, and his accuracy is great. And with a simple touch, now I've created a form, I've entered data, all in an advanced spreadsheet on the iPad. So that's a quick look at iWork on the iPad. These applications are incredible. They really show the tremendous potential and power of the iPad to do tasks that were before advanced and difficult, and now they can be fun and easy and really professional. Applications like this are amazing. So what are we going to charge for them? I'm really excited that we're going to charge just $9.99 each for these applications. That's just breakthrough. These are 3 completely new applications. They have amazing new user interfaces. They're compatible with iWork on the Mac, so you can import and export between the iPad and your Mac. You can easily connect to a projector, so when you're running a keynote presentation with a simple cable, you can present it to a larger audience. Again, priced at just $9.99, and they're going to be available right on the App Store, right on the iPad. So everyone who gets an iPad can quickly and easily purchase and download these 3 applications. So that's Keynote, Pages, and Numbers, and that's iWork on the iPad. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you, Phil. Isn't it great? I'm very happy. So, a few other things. I'd like to talk for a minute about iTunes. The iPad syncs over USB with iTunes running on your Mac or your PC, exactly like an iPhone or an iPod Touch. And so when you sync everything. You can sync your photos, your music, your movies, your TV shows, your contacts, your calendars, your bookmarks, and of course all those applications that you might have already bought for your iPhone or your iPod Touch. Backups are synced back. If you ever lose your iPad and you get another one, you can restore it right from the backup, right where you left off. So USB syncing to iTunes running on your Mac or your PC. And we think this is a real benefit. Now I'd like to talk about wireless networking. Every iPad has Wi-Fi in it, the latest and greatest Wi-Fi. But we're also going to have models of iPad with 3G, cellular wireless data built in, as well as Wi-Fi. Now, what does it cost for the data plans? Well, in the US, telecom companies typically charge about $60 a month for a data plan for a laptop. We've got a real breakthrough here. We've got 2 awesome plans for iPad owners. The first one gives you up to 250 megabytes of data per month. That's a fair bit of data. Most people will get by on that. Up to 250 megabytes of data per month, just $14.99. $14.99. And if you feel you need more, we have an unlimited plan for just $29.99. So these are real breakthrough prices. We've got a breakthrough deal with AT&T that's providing this service. $14.99 for up to 250 megabytes, $29.99 for unlimited data. And AT&T is throwing in free use of their Wi-Fi hotspots all throughout the US. They have more Wi-Fi hotspots than anyone, and this is really great as well. Now, how do you turn this on and manage it? You don't have to go to a store. You don't have to call anybody. You can activate this right on the iPad itself. And there's no contract. It's prepay. So there's no contract, and you can cancel it anytime you want. So for $14.99 a month, you can buy your new iPad, activate it right on the iPad, $14.99 a month for 250 megabytes of data, and you can cancel it whenever you want. We think it's a phenomenal offering. Now, so we've got a breakthrough deal in the US. What about international? Well, we hope to have our international deals in place in the June-July timeframe. We think we can probably do a lot of them by June. And so we're going to start on that tomorrow. However, all of the iPad 3G models are unlocked. And they use the new GSM micro SIMs. So internationally, if some of the carriers offer micro SIMs, it's a very high likelihood they'll just work. And we'll be back this summer with some even better deals for our customers internationally. So Wi-Fi plus 3G if you want it. We're very excited about this, and So, iPad. It's phenomenal to hold the internet in your hand. Email is fantastic on this device. It's the best device I've ever seen for enjoying and sharing photography. Great for enjoying your music collection. And video is phenomenal on it. It runs almost all of the 140,000 apps on the App Store, as well as a whole new generation of apps that will be designed specifically for the iPad. And the new iBooks application with the iBook Store, you can carry literally thousands of books around on your iPad. And the iWork suite of apps for doing productivity applications with the best user interface we've ever seen for something like this. An amazing product, tremendous breadth. What should we price it at? Well, if you listen to the pundits, we're going to price it at under $1,000, which is code for $999. When we set out to develop the iPad, we not only had very ambitious technical goals and user interface goals, but we had a very aggressive price goal, because we want to put this in the hands of lots of people. And just like we were able to meet or exceed our technical goals, we have met our cost goals. And I am thrilled to announce to you that the iPad pricing starts not at $999, but at just $499. $499. At $499, a lot of people can afford an iPad. So, $499 for a 16 gigabyte iPad. That's our base model, 16 gigabytes with Wi-Fi built in. For 32 gigabytes, it's $100 more. And for another $100 beyond that, you get 64 gigabytes of storage. The 3G models cost an extra $130 to build in the radios. And so $629, $729, and $829. And these will be the 6 models of iPads we have, starting at $499, with the most expensive model with 64 gigabytes and 3G, just $829. We think it's an unbelievable price offering. So $499. Well, when can you get your hands on one of these? We will be shipping iPads in 60 days, worldwide availability of the Wi-Fi models. It'll take us probably another 30 days beyond that to get the 3G models through the approval process with the carriers. And so within about 90 days, we'll be shipping the 3G models. So soon, you will be able to get an iPad in your hands, starting at just $499. We've got some really great accessories as well. Let me show you 3 of them. First one's very simple. We have a dock. Well, why is that so interesting? Because, you know the slideshow I showed you? Well, when you're in the lock screen, there's a little button that you just push, and it puts you in the slideshow, and you have a great picture frame to look at your photos while the iPad is charging on your desk. It's very nice. We have another dock for the iPad that's interesting, the keyboard dock. So, full-size mechanical keyboard. You slide your iPad into it, Of course, it charges, has a 30-pin connector out the back for charging, so you can charge your iPad, and when you really need to do a lot of typing, this is the way to go. Just keep one of these in your den. When you've got to write War and Peace, just plug your iPad into it. Third accessory, really nice case. Protects your iPad, but it also flips around in back of itself and is a really nice stand if you're going to do typing, and a great way to watch movies. So a nice case as well. So 3 accessories for the iPad. Now, we made a video, which we're going to put up on the web, but since we've got this really great projection system here, I thought you might like to see it on the big screen. So let's go ahead and run the video. So, let's go back to the beginning. Do we have what it takes to establish a third category of products? An awesome product in between a laptop and a smartphone? Well, the bar is pretty high. It's got to be far better at doing some key things, like these. And we think we got the goods. We think we've done it. And we are so excited about this product. Another thing we're so excited about is that because we've shipped over 75 million iPhones and iPod Touches, there's over 75 million people that already know how to use the iPad. So we can't wait for them to get their hands on it. And as you know, we have the iTunes Store, the App Store, and now the iBook Store, all on the iPad. And between these stores, we have over 125 million accounts with credit cards, all enabled for one-click shopping on all of these stores. And users have downloaded over 12 billion products from these stores. Over 12 billion products. So we are at scale, and we are ready for the iPad. Now, the iPad, if you were to sum it up, is our most advanced technology in a magical and revolutionary device at an unbelievable price. Our most advanced technology in a magical and revolutionary device at an unbelievable price. And we think this is going to be a really great combination. Now, the reason that Apple's able to create products like the iPad is because we've always tried to be at the intersection of technology and liberal arts. To be able to get the best of both, to make extremely advanced products from a technology point of view, but also have them be intuitive, easy to use, fun to use, so that they really fit the users. The users don't have to come to them. They come to the user. And it's the combination of these two things that I think has let us make the kind of creative products like the iPad. So, we've got a hands-on area next door. We'd like you to go get your hands on an iPad, because when you feel all this power and this much fun and the internet in your hands, you'll never want to go back. So thank you so much for coming this morning, and we hope you love the iPad as much as we do. Thank you very much.